If you're watching this right now, you need to hear this, because what I'm about to expose is going to completely shatter everything you've been programmed to believe about aging, time, and your own biology. Here's the thing they don't want you to know. Aging isn't what you think it is. It's not a biological inevitability. It's a belief system. And once you understand the mechanics of how this works, you can't unsee it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to age overnight after a traumatic event? Or how someone can look 10 years younger after falling in love? That's not coincidence. That's the system glitching, revealing what's actually happening beneath the surface. The pharmaceutical industry, the medical establishment, the entire anti-aging complex. They've built a trillion-dollar empire on a fundamental lie. And that lie is this: that your cells are on a predetermined timer, counting down to inevitable decay. But here's what the research actually shows. Your DNA doesn't have an expiration date. What it has is something called telomeres. These are protective caps on the end of your chromosomes. And yes, they shorten with each cell division. But here's where it gets interesting. Scientists discovered that telomeres don't just respond to time. They respond to belief, to stress, to your perception of reality itself. There's a landmark study from UCSF where they measured the telomeres of caregivers under chronic stress. These people had telomeres that looked 10 years older than their chronological age. But the twist? It wasn't the stress itself that aged them. It was their perception of the stress. The ones who viewed their situation as overwhelming and hopeless, rapid aging. The ones who found meaning and purpose in the challenge, their telomeres were normal. Same stress, different biological outcome. Stay with me, because this gets even more revealing. Your body replaces itself constantly. The lining of your stomach, every 3 to 5 days. Your skin, every 2 to 4 weeks. Your liver, every 5 months. Your skeleton, completely new every 10 years. So riddle me this. If you're literally building a new body on a continuous basis, why would it deteriorate? The answer is programming, epigenetic expression. Your cells are reading an instruction manual, and that manual is written by your beliefs, your environment, your perception of time itself. You're not aging because of time. You're aging because you believe that time causes aging. Here's the mechanism they won't teach you in medical school. Every thought you think creates a cascade of neuropeptides. These are chemical messengers that literally talk to your cells. When you think, "I'm getting old," your hypothalamus releases a specific cocktail of chemicals that signal to your cells. Decrease regeneration, increase inflammation, shut down repair mechanisms. Your body is listening. It's taking orders. And most people are giving it the same command, over and over, thousands of times a day. Decline, deteriorate, prepare for death. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Time itself isn't linear. Quantum physics has proven this. The past, present, and future exist simultaneously. You're only experiencing time as linear because your consciousness is moving through it in a specific way. Like a needle on a record player. What if you could change the speed of that needle? What if you could make it skip backwards? What if aging is just your consciousness moving in a particular direction through quantum probability fields? There's a researcher named Dr. Ellen Langer who ran an experiment that broke the scientific community. She took elderly men and put them in an environment that was designed to look like it was 1959. Everything, the music, the newspapers, the furniture, the television programs. For 1 week, these men lived as if it was 20 years earlier. The results? Impossible according to conventional biology. Their vision improved, their hearing improved, their arthritis decreased, their cognitive function increased. In 1 week, not from medication, not from surgery, from changing their perception of time. Comment below if this is starting to make sense. Now, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy to keep you aging. Well, actually I am saying exactly that. But it's not malicious. It's systematic. The entire structure of society is built on the assumption of linear time and biological decline. Retirement ages, insurance actuarial tables, medical predictions, life expectancy charts. All of these systems reinforce the belief, and your belief reinforces the biology. It's a closed loop, a self-fulfilling prophecy running on autopilot. But you're here watching this, which means some part of you already knows this is true. You felt it. You've noticed that your energy levels aren't about your age. They're about your state of mind. You've seen people who are chronologically old but biologically young, or the reverse. Here's the practical piece. How do you actually hack this system? First, you need to understand that your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. This is not metaphor. This is neuroscience. When you vividly imagine something, your brain fires the same neural pathways as if you're actually experiencing it. Your body releases the same chemicals. So here's the technique. Every morning, for 3 to 5 minutes, you're going to do what I call temporal displacement. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, and then imagine yourself exactly as you want to be physically. Not in the future, right now, in present tense. Feel the energy in your body. Feel the flexibility in your joints. Feel the clarity in your mind. See yourself moving with ease and vitality. Make it vivid. Make it sensory. Make it real. Your subconscious will receive this as an instruction manual. And here's the critical part. You have to do this from a place of knowing, not wanting. Wanting reinforces lack. Knowing creates the chemistry of certainty, and certainty rewrites genetic expression. Second, you need to interrupt the cultural programming. Every time you hear someone say, "I'm too old for this," or "That's just what happens when you age," recognize it as a belief, not a fact. Don't argue with them. Just don't let it into your system. Third, start looking for evidence of the opposite. Find people who defy aging. Study them. Surround yourself with their energy. Your mirror neurons will literally start firing in patterns that match theirs. Remember what I said earlier about telomeres? There's an enzyme called telomerase that can actually rebuild them. And you know what activates telomerase? Meditation, exercise, purpose, love. All the things that have nothing to do with time and everything to do with consciousness. But here's where this really blows open. If aging is a belief system and time is a construct of consciousness, then you're not actually moving forward through time. You're choosing which version of yourself to embody moment to moment. Every second, your body is choosing whether to express the genes of vitality or the genes of decay. And that choice is being made by the story you're telling yourself about who you are and how reality works. The reason they don't want you to know this is simple. An empowered population that understands they can control their own biology? That's not a good consumer base for the sickness industry. You can't sell fear to someone who knows they're the author of their own cellular expression. Think about it. The entire economy of aging is built on your belief in helplessness. anti-aging creams, pharmaceutical interventions, surgical procedures, all of them starting from the premise that you are a victim of time. But what if you're not? What if the only reason you age is because everyone around you agreed to age, and you went along with it because that's what you saw, that's what you were taught, that's what the entire collective consciousness was running as its default program? Here's a question that will crack this wide open for you. Why do people often die shortly after retirement, or shortly after their spouse dies? The medical explanation is stress, loss of purpose, whatever. But the real explanation is simpler. They stop imagining a future. They stop projecting their consciousness forward. So, the body completes the program. Like this video if you're starting to see through the matrix. I want to share something personal. I used to look in the mirror and see aging happening, lines deepening, energy decreasing. And then I realized I was looking for it. My confirmation bias was literally sculpting my face. So, I stopped. I started looking in the mirror and seeing vitality, seeing energy, seeing the version of myself that exists outside of linear time. And things started shifting. Not overnight, but consistently, undeniably. People started asking what I was doing differently. I wasn't doing anything except changing the story. Now, some of you are thinking, this is too simple. It can't be this simple. And that's exactly the trap. Complexity is how they keep you searching externally. The truth is always simple. Change the belief, change the biology. Change the story, change the structure. Your body is not a machine breaking down. It's a field of energy and information, constantly reorganizing itself based on the instructions it receives from your consciousness. And you are giving it instructions every single moment, whether you realize it or not. The question is, what instructions are you giving? Are you telling your cells to thrive, or are you telling them to decline? Are you identifying with the eternal aspect of yourself or the temporary physical form? Are you living from possibility or from programming? Here's what's really happening. You're not getting older. You're making a choice, thousands of times a day, to express the pattern of aging that you've been taught to expect. But that pattern is optional. It's a default setting, not a law of nature. And before you think this is spiritual bypassing, let me be clear. I'm not saying ignore your body. I'm saying upgrade your relationship with it. Treat it as the miraculous quantum field that it actually is, not the deteriorating meat suit that you've been conditioned to believe it is. The final piece is this. You have to stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for more evidence. Stop waiting for science to catch up. The science is already there. It's just being ignored because it doesn't fit the paradigm. It doesn't support the profit model. You are the experiment. Your body is the laboratory. And the results you get will be determined by the hypothesis you're testing. If you test the hypothesis that aging is inevitable, you'll get data confirming that. If you test the hypothesis that aging is a belief system you can reprogram, you'll get different data. So, here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, live as if aging is optional. Notice every thought that contradicts this. Notice every cultural message reinforcing the old program. And consciously choose a different story. Watch what happens. Watch what shifts. And then come back and tell me in the comments what you experienced. Because we're building a new paradigm here. One person at a time. One belief system at a time. One body at a time. The hidden lie about aging is that it's happening to you. The truth is, you're doing it. And if you're doing it, you can undo it. You can choose differently. You can hack the system. They don't want you to know this because it means you don't need them. You don't need their products. You don't need their interventions. You just need to remember what you actually are. Consciousness wearing a body. Not a body trying to achieve consciousness. If this resonated with you, if something inside you recognized this as truth, subscribe to this channel, because I'm pulling back the curtain on all of it. Every system, every lie, every program keeping you small. And watch my video on timeline shifting next. Because once you understand that aging is a choice, you need to understand how to shift into the timeline where you made a different choice, where you never bought the lie in the first place. Your desired reality already exists. You're just tuning into the wrong frequency. Time to change the channel.